By the end of this episode, you will never compare yourself to another human being in the same way. Let that sit. Because comparison doesn't just steal joy, it steals identity, it steals direction. And sometimes it destroys the very thing it is trying to protect, the ego. Today we're going to explore one of the shortest stories ever written, yet one of the most dangerous truths ever told. A fable so simple it could be told to a child, and yet so brutal it dismantles grown men. This is the story of the frog and the ox. And this isn't just a story about envy. It's a story about inflation without foundation, about self-worth borrowed from others, and what happens when you measure yourself using the wrong ruler. There once lived a frog. A simple frog, living a simple life. Comfortable in its pond. One day the frog's offspring returned home, excited, breathless. They've seen something extraordinary. "Father," they say, "we've seen the biggest creature imaginable, bigger than you, bigger than anything." The frog bristles. "Bigger than me? Impossible." And then he inflates himself slightly. "Was it this big?" "No." He inflates again. "Was it this big?" "No, father, bigger." Again and again the frog swells, straining, expanding, forcing himself to match something he was never meant to be, until finally he bursts, dead. And the ox continues grazing, unaware the frog ever existed. This fable is not about frogs, it's about identity panic. The frog was not unhappy before comparison entered the picture. He was not starving, he was not threatened, he was not losing. But the moment he measured himself against something outside his nature, the war began. This is what comparison does. It doesn't motivate, it invalidates. And the ego responds not with humility, but with inflation. We don't grow, we pretend to grow. We don't build, we puff ourselves up. Social media is the modern ox. Someone else's wealth, someone else's body, someone else's success, someone else's following. And instead of asking, what is my path? We ask, why am I not them? Comparison activates the threat circuitry of the brain. The amygdala doesn't know the difference between a lion chasing you and a man outperforming you. Your nervous system interprets comparison as existential danger. So what happens? You rush, you fake, you posture, you inflate. This is why people take shortcuts. People buy status before earning competence. People collapse under pressure they created themselves. The frog didn't train to become larger. He didn't adapt, he didn't evolve. He expanded his image, not his capacity. This is the most dangerous move a human can make. So let's talk about real-world frogs. The entrepreneur who scales too fast because he's trying to compete with another business. The influencer who builds an image without substance. The man who chases money before mastery. The woman who chases beauty standards that destroy her health. Inflation without structure always collapses. Look at burnout, imposter syndrome, anxiety, addiction, and identity crisis. These are not failures, they are pressure fractures. You expanded faster than you built. The ox never tried to be the frog, but the frog tried to be the ox. That asymmetry matters. Aesop understood something modern culture forgot. Nature has limits, and wisdom respects them. The frog's tragedy wasn't in being small, it was rejecting his nature. A frog has agility, adaptability, precision, and timing. The ox has mass, strength, and weight. Different roles, different games, different metrics. Comparison assumes one scoreboard. Life doesn't work that way. You don't lose because someone else is bigger. You lose when you abandon your own lane. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Comparison is not a signal to expand. It's a signal to refine. When you feel envy, ask, what quality do I admire? What capability do I lack? What work have they done that I haven't? Then build quietly. The frog needed time, training, evolution. Not air, not illusion, not ego. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they try to become someone else too quickly. Don't inflate, integrate. Don't compare, construct. And remember this, the ox never even noticed the frog, but the frog died trying to be the ox. Stay in your nature, build your capacity, and let comparison die before it kills you.